Israel has, of course, launched its large-scale attack on the West Bank. The number is now 10, by the way. At least 10 Palestinians have been killed in this large-scale attack.
Palestinians have been killed in the West Bank after the Israeli military launched raids and airstrikes overnight. That's according to the Palestinian Health Ministry.
The Israeli military says it launched a large counter-terror operation overnight in 2 refugee camps. Officials say the Israeli military was targeting, quote, Islamic Iranian terrorist infrastructure.
CNN's Paula Hancock is live for us this hour in Abu Dhabi. And Paula, this marks the largest Israeli operation in the West Bank for years. And we understand we are hearing there's been a response from Hamas this hour to what has occurred.
Yeah, Christina and Max, this is certainly a significant operation. We have been seeing for months that there have been these limited operations by the Israeli military into the occupied West Bank. Hundreds of Palestinians have been killed over recent months, since October 7th of last year. But this is definitely something more significant that we are seeing. Now, we did hear from the governor of Jenin that he said just after midnight, so in the early hours of Wednesday, the Israeli military surrounded the refugee camp and Jenin itself. He says that he can still hear gunfire ongoing in the area, so it is believed this operation is still going. And he says a third of the city is without electricity at this point. Now, as you say, we know that 9 Palestinians have been killed. We hear from the Red Crescent Society, from the Ministry of Health, that those deaths happened from airstrikes, also from strikes on the ground. We hear drones are in the air as well. And when it comes to the Israeli response, so far we understand there are...
My brother-in-law just had his house ransacked in Tulkarm. He installed security cameras a few months ago because of all the thieves in the refugee camp. And they used that as a pretext to enter his house, put plastic cuffs on him, beat him, and ransack. This all happened in the last few hours. Yeah. What is it called? It's called like... I forget what it's called, but there's a principle that the Israeli occupying force utilizes where they will like take over a house and they'll put all of the Palestinians living in the house into one room, and they turn it into basically an outpost for themselves, and they will use it for the duration. If you need fucking food, fuck off. Okay, if you need medicine, fuck off. What matters in that moment is like the Israeli occupying force utilizing your temporary outpost. Yeah. And they use that temporary outpost to snipe other Palestinians. Yeah. To snipe Palestinians. Yeah. From that temporary outpost. They will take over a civilian house deliberately. Okay. They will take over a civilian house deliberately and snipe Palestinians from that civilian house. Yes. Straw window. I think no, there's like a specific term for it. It's like something with a straw. I think it's like a straw window. Yeah. Great stuff overall. I mean, that's just like one aspect of this like unimaginably cruel and inhumane way in which the Israeli military operates. America did similar things, of course, in Iraq as well. But it's great that our taxes fund that shit. It's pretty sick. Let's continue.
At least hundreds of personnel involved. We've been told that there are 4 battalions of the border police alone, including undercover border police, and that does.
Testimonies from the ground are that electricity is out, roads and infrastructure are being destroyed, and houses are being raided to install sniping positions. We haven't seen this shit in 20 years. A little ironic this comes up after the police arbitrarily shut down a Hadash branch in Haifa because they wanted to screen Jenin, a legally allowed, not censored film about the IDF's brutal operations in July, and the sequel to Mohammed Bakri's excellent 2002 film. So post from 2020 about Straw Widow missions. Some of our testimonies describe Straw Widow missions, taking over a Palestinian house to use as a temporary lookout or sniper outpost. For the Palestinians who have the misfortune of having a view of the strategically important area from their window, that can mean frequent harassment. but in our service in the occupied Palestinian territories was time limited. Once our 3 years or however long we'd signed on for were up, we got to leave it all behind and go back to the safety of our homes, where the idea of a foreign military force barging in and taking over would be inconceivable. Straw widows, not straw windows. Straw widow missions is what it's called. I mean, this is like one aspect of this cruelty, this brutality that is always ongoing, for the record. Okay? It's just one aspect. What's their excuse for the West Bank? Let me tell you. Okay? They're calling it Operation Summer Camp, by the way, which is, again, insane. Like, just straight Hitlerian, no jokes at this point, like, just straight up owning it, okay? Operation Summer Camp. Why is it being conducted? Because there's speculation that Iran is funding the West Bank Palestinians and that they're going to conduct suicide bomb attacks, okay? Now, let me explain something to you about how unlikely that is, okay? How unlikely that is. There are checkpoints in every fucking aspect of the West Bank. The West Bank is completely fucking occupied, okay? Completely occupied. Completely. So they already have that in place because they're worried about terror attacks on Jews, on Israeli settlers, specifically in the West Bank and also in Israel proper. Now they're claiming that civilians are going to go and, blow up trucks and shit like that inside of Israel proper. And that's why they have to do a preemptive genocide in the West Bank as well.
Doesn't include the military and the intelligence element. So this is a large operation. Now, one thing I wanted to mention was a tweet we had from the Israeli foreign minister, which was interesting. He gave a reason for this operation, saying that it was to thwart what he called Islamic Iranian terrorist infrastructure, saying that Iran is funding and arming terrorists in the West Bank and trying to create a situation similar to Gaza and Lebanon. And he's
the IDF is working. Yeah, there was one Tel Aviv bomb explosion that happened that Hamas claimed. Okay, Hamas has claimed that it was behind a bomb in Tel Aviv on Sunday night, which Israeli authorities say killed a suspected attacker and injured a civilian. Okay, this was a like a truck attack or something. Like it was a truck filled with explosives, I think. Or wait, maybe it was, I thought it was like, or originally they said it was like a truck filled with explosives, but maybe it's not. Bomb explosion in Tel Aviv. Statement from the armed group said it was a martyrdom operation carried out in cooperation with Palestinian Islamic Jihad. It also warned that suicide attacks would return to the forefront if Israel continued what it called massacres of Palestinians. Israel's police force and Shin Bet Domestic Security Service said earlier that they could confirm it was a terrorist attack involving a powerful explosive device. Suicide bombers with a backpack exploded next to the truck. Okay. The blast happened on Leahy Street on southern Tel Aviv about an hour after the U.S. Secretary of State landed in the city to push Gaza ceasefire and a hostage deal. Okay. Anyway, here's Israel Katz, Minister of Foreign Affairs. He says the IDF is working intensively from tonight in the Jenin and Tulkarem refugee camps to thwart Islamic Iranian terrorist infrastructures that have been established there. Iran is working to establish an eastern terrorist front against Israel in the West Bank, according to Gaza and Lebanon model, by financing and arming terrorists and smuggling advanced weapons from Jordan. We must deal with the threat just as we deal with the terrorist infrastructure in Gaza, including the temporary evacuation of Palestinian residents and whatever steps are required. This is a war for everything, and we must win it. Now, what's interesting about this, of course, yeah, Israel Katz is just a Nazi, is right. What's interesting, of course, about this is that these guys in Jenin and Tulkarem, the refugee camps, that are armed, have the legal right, if not the responsibility, to defend with physical confrontation and violence, if necessary, their own territory from Israeli incursions. It is actually Israel that is actively violating international human rights. And this isn't like complex situation. It's just straight up unconscionable and illegal. Okay. And the International Court of Justice declared it to be illegal again as recently as a month ago. So like Israel is in a permanent invasion and occupation status as an illegal occupier, a belligerent. So the fact that they say, well, these guys are terrorists or whatever is fucking ridiculous. Like, you are literally doing terror. They are in the right. They are morally in the right. They are right by international human rights standards. Okay? Like, you have to understand. This is not even like an October 7 justification style situation. Okay? Israel is doing an October 7 every day, technically, by occupying this area, okay? By occupying this area that does not belong to them. I need you to understand this. Like, the laws don't matter to Israel, obviously, but like, you have to understand, like, it is completely illegal what Israel is doing. It is completely legal what the Jenin brigades are doing in terms of like defending their own fucking territory. So just remember that. Like, they're terrorists. It's like fucking Russia invading Ukraine and then being like, wow, I can't believe these terrorists are fucking fighting back against us. Okay? Like, what do you think is going to happen? Of course people are going to fuck. You're violating the sovereignty of an entire group of people. Of course they're going to fucking do that. It blows my fucking mind, dude. Russia does say that law. Yeah, of course Russia says that. Except no one in the fucking Western world gives a shit. Except for like 8 people still pushing Z. So understand that what Israel is doing is terrorism.
Said, quote, we must address this threat just like we're handling terror infrastructure in Gaza, including temporary evacuation of Palestinian residents and any step necessary. This is a war like any other, and we must win it. Now, that is significant, the fact that he's suggesting there could be evacuations in the occupied West Bank, just as there are and have been in Gaza.
Technically, since we pay our tax dollars to this, aren't we complicit too? I mean, yes. But as long as you are doing everything you physically can to try and put an end to this, as an American taxpayer, as an American citizen, what more can you fucking do? You know what I mean? That is why when people say this issue is irrelevant, why the fuck are you talking about this? Why are you talking about this? It's like, well, I'm paying for it. Of course I'm going to fucking talk about this. I'm paying for it. Okay? Which leads me to one other story that I've like been reluctant to cover personally because there is obviously a deep and personal connection here, and it's been tough. It's been tough bringing this up, but Israel killed a TikTok, Instagram influencer in Gaza whose name is Medo Halimy. Okay, his name is Medo Halimy. He was 19 years old. And Israel killed him. His last post was 3 days ago, talking about, and he is just like with Omar Mohammed on the Omar Hirsch show. He was documenting his daily life, experiencing a genocide. He was planting stuff. He was also a member of this community as well, as I found out later. Okay, or at least like someone who watched from time to time. He was actually the one who apparently told Omar and Muhammad that like I had talked about them on the stream, and he was like really excited. Let's here's Owen Jones's coverage on the matter.
I just want to show you one last thing. It's a video posted by Medo Halimy just 2 days ago, a 19-year-old Palestinian. Just have a watch.
Let me show you what a day of my tent life looks like. I started the day with a cup of coffee, and then I went to lay down because it was so hot. After a bit, I took my phone and laptop to charge him. This is what they look like. And when I got there, I ordered a lemonade. So refreshing. As I waited for them to charge, I started working on designs for my new secret project. I then got the phone and went to get a haircut. I need a one. Tell me how it looks. Right now it's 6 p.m, so I'm almost done with everything in my day. I went to the tent cafe to get connected to the internet, and I edited the video. Then I went live on TikTok. And that's it for today. Don't forget to drop a follow and like the video.
Friends of Medo Halimy now report that he has succumbed to the wounds that he had suffered after an Israeli airstrike in Gaza left him in a coma. Go to his Instagram profile, Medo_Halimy. Go look at his videos. This was a young man who lived, who despite unbearable circumstances so hellish that virtually none of us can really imagine what they're like. Full of joy, full of happiness, and despite it all, full of love for life. Just 5 days ago, he posted his grief at his 11-year-old cousin Ahmed being killed by the Israeli state. And in that piece mourning his slaughter, he also mourned those other innocent Palestinians who have been butchered alongside him. And he finished that post with the following: each one of them had a life, dreams, talents, hopes, and people whom they loved. No one deserves this. No one does deserve this. 11-year-old Ahmed did not deserve this. 19-year-old Medo did not deserve this. The tens of thousands of Palestinians slaughtered by the Israeli state with the direct involvement of the US state did not deserve this. This genocide has to end. We have to stop it. We have to fight with everything we have to end this genocide. And that means being honest about the role and the position of a US administration which is soaked in blood.
Viva Palestine talks about his background a little bit as well. Specifically what he aspired to do. He had a greenhouse.
They do something of planting every day until this genocide is over. A lot of you ask me why I plant. Planting for me is a form of resistance. I bring life to earth. They're taking away life, but I'm bringing it to earth. And I hope that my plants have strong roots to the ground, just like we Palestinians do. Today I'm not planting. I have to fix the farm, expand it a little bit, and I'm gonna show you guys how my farm looks like, since a lot of you have been asking. Let's check out my melons. They have flowers now. Look at that. This is my watermelon. Luchia over there. Lima beans. Looking pretty good. And menta right now. She's not mentita anymore.
The reason why I'm talking about him like being someone who was like a part of this community is because I want you to understand, like, he's 19 years old. Okay? He was 19 years old. He's just like you. He had dreams. He had aspirations. He was a human being. He had loved ones around him. He had goals. And in spite of the horrifying realities of existing under a genocide, he tried to still maintain a positive outlook every single fucking day. And now, as I showed you his last video before, he'll never be able to complete a secret project. It's over. It's done. Israel snuffed at that light. I need you to understand. Okay? That's a college that in other circumstances, in normal circumstances, in the United States of America, that's just a college sophomore, a college freshman. You know, that's why this shit matters when people protest in college campuses. These are people just like you, okay? He happened to have a platform to communicate the daily existences to the Western world that was otherwise turning a blind eye, and I think he played a very important role in that regard. But it is crazy to me that like a genocidal apartheid regime that we are completely fucking locked in on defending can just snuff out a light like this.
Splendid. Day 30 something.
And he spent a whole bunch of time over and over again. Medo would sit and explain what daily life looked like for people who clearly didn't give a shit. I'm so fucking angry. This is what he had to spend time doing just so people would hear and believe him. And Israel murdered him regardless. I thought there was no electricity. How are you charging phones?
Someone in the past created something called solar panels. They basically create electricity from, you know, solar energy. And that's basically what we're using. A lot of people had them before this whole thing started. And when they ran away, they took them with them. And now they charge for people. Of course, we have to pay for it. So like I pay $1 daily to charge both my phone and laptop. But that's how we charge.
Connection is hard, yet you make videos every day? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Connection is hard. Yeah, you make videos every day. I definitely don't make videos every day. I try to make videos every day, but the problem is I don't have connection every day. And even if I would have connection every day, it would be very, very bad and expensive as well. So the initial plan was basically to create videos daily and post daily, but the problem again is connection and electricity. This is a good question actually. In the beginning, people just started spending all the money that they have saved previously, but you can imagine 10 months is a bit too much. So yes, most people have run out of money, and right now they're basically living off of helps from others, family members abroad, you know, friends abroad, or whoever outside of Gaza that can help them. And today I'm getting a transfer through Binance from outside of Gaza. And let me show you how hard it is to get it and how much money we actually lose throughout the way.
This also was a procedure that Israel stopped for the record.
At first, of course, I went to the city of Deir al-Balah. And as you can see, transportation was not 5 stars. I didn't like it. And when I got there, I went to a currency exchange office that also takes money transfers. And what I basically did is...
Binance stopped transfers to Palestine after this. Israel stopped them from... Binance seized their funds and stopped transfers to Gaza. Yeah. For the record, just so you guys understand. Yeah, here it is. In case any of you thought still that crypto is decentralized and safe from governments, a genocidal government just froze the assets of every Palestinian through Binance. In case you were wondering how easily they budge to genocidal governments, now you know. Cryptocurrency exchange Binance has seized all Palestinian assets at the request of Israel. Please check out Connecting Humanity eSIMs for Gaza, a great organization where you can buy eSIMs for people in Gaza to get phone and internet access. His post got community noted. I don't know if this is false or not. I don't think it is. I think there's probably ways around it, but this is an official document. Suleiman defends Andrew Tate. Bro, you think I give a shit about the person reporting this? Like, the fuck? I think you guys need to understand something. I don't care about all of the other shit that they believe, okay? What I care about is whether it's correct or not. Like, what the information that they're delivering. Like, you're focusing on the dumbest shit. Ridiculous. It is a proposed community notes, which only people in the community notes program can see, which is wrong. The note was claiming it was only illicit funds. Yeah.
I transferred them the money to their Binance account, and they gave me back cash. But here's a problem. 27% commission fee. Yeah, almost a quarter of the money. So if I were to get $200, I would only get about $140. I took the money, I bought some stuff, and I went back home. Sorry, didn't.
They killed him. They just killed him. And that's it. They killed him just like 40,000 plus other people. I don't know what else to say about it. And people say like, oh, Israel deliberately targeted him. I don't think so. I think it's a kill zone and they don't care. Okay. Why did they kill him? Airstrikes. Indiscriminate bombing campaigns. Yeah. I don't know what else to say about it. But yeah, Omar told me, and I want to repeat it for all of you as well, to keep Medo in your thoughts and pray for him. He said, when you first followed us, he was the first person, he was the first one to rush to tell us he used to appreciate your talks. Which apparently Taylor said as well. Taylor Lorenz was talking to him for a story last year and he was a fan. He was one of you guys. These are just regular 19-year-olds just like you. Regular 18-year-olds just like you. I need you to understand that. You constantly talk about how much the narrative has shifted in your lifetime on the Palestinians, but I hope you realize just how much Israel themselves have irreparably destroyed their reputation and influence across the world. Old libs and conservatives might love Israel, but everyone else can see clear as day. Anyway. I don't know. These are moments where the irreparable harm Israel has caused itself by being a bloodthirsty, monstrous, fascist piece of shit nation continuing to do a genocide doesn't really matter all that much. Is hard. It's hard to think about it from the broader snapshot. This like lasers in on the inhumanity, but I wanted to show it to you because, you know, I need you to understand the human toll. Y'all Nazi leftists, he said. Yeah, we are the Nazis. You're right. we're the Nazis for saying that what Israel is doing is objectively Nazi shit. According to his GoFundMe, as many have heard, a few days ago, Medo Halimy has passed away. He was sitting at a cafe for a chance to get internet when he was hit by an Israeli airstrike. Every single person that Israel has killed so far has a story like his. I need you to understand that. That's why these guys play a very important role in humanizing the Palestinian plight. What Palestinians go through on a daily fucking basis in Gaza.